Hello, and welcome back to Generic Sports Podcast. I'm your host, the Goose, Josh, and this is also Josh Jacobs, Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Also known as John.
I guess.
That's like that's a fantasy team name right there.
It is. It is. Maybe I'll change. Maybe I'll change my team to that. We'll see what happens. So this is our NFC predictions, and this one. I don't know about you, but I didn't have too many like unusual teams.
It's very mixed. I think I had a few changes from last season because I believe in a few teams a little more. But yeah, the NFC is a mixed bag.
Right, I think I should say, I guess I have like, I want to say like I had with the AFC, I think I had the majority of the same playoff teams, and some of them do change and some of them don't, but like let's just get the ball rolling here, Jingleheimer Schmidt. And I'm going to go I'm going to go with Lions as number one. I don't think it's going to be an easy road, but I like their team.
I agree. Like the Lions are my number one pick as well, and I like everything about them, from Dan Campbell's coaching to the receiving core to the running backs to the defense. They're
Right.
like hard. They're a hard physical team, and they, I mean, I believe in Jared Goff, but like he might be the weak point, and that's a pretty high, like pretty solid part for a weak point.
Right. Like honestly, for me, it starts at Dan Campbell. Like his energy, his coaching, like he's gonna get at you, especially with those like Applebee's commercials.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, like I knew back when he was the Dolphins interim head coach, like the energy he brought, he was going to be a head coach someday. Figured this is exactly the type of energy he was going to bring to it.
Right. Trying to think. And that defense just looks solid. Like there's, we look and see like Houston and even the Chiefs and some of these teams. It's like that Lions defense is kind of becoming like some household names. Like Aiden Hutchinson is getting up there, and
Anzalone
and Brian Branch, and just a few of those names, and not just on the defense but on the offense. Like you're just really like they're physical, they're tough. I think that you're gonna see more of that from them this season.
Yeah, that type of energy and physicality will help them go far.
I'm basically, what I feel is it's not going to be the same old Lions. I'm hoping it's not the same old Lions.
Well, it's definitely going to be they got to the championship game last season, so I'm sure they're hoping they can get back there and win,
take it to the next level, like the Chiefs did, and when they first lost their championship game. I can see it.
Yeah.
Speaking of championship games, for me, my number two is the 49ers, which after contracts and whoever we trade in and all of that, like I just like that team. Like I think the defense is going to be solid again. I know that with Greenlaw being hurt in the Super Bowl, I know not back just yet, right? Like I know he'll be back like I think later in the season, but I mean I like Brock Purdy. Like I'm not gonna say he's like the best quarterback, but like he's solid. He performs.
Yeah, he gets the job done. I also put the 49ers down at 2, and hopefully I think the rest of the list will change as we keep going, but
right.
Yeah, but they have a lot of weapons, and Kyle Shanahan knows how to keep winning, and they changed the defensive coordinator, so I'm sure that'll help them out. I mean, not that Steve Wilkes was the problem. I think he was just a fall guy, but like
right. I mean, I will also say like my number two could have been my number three, could have also been my number one. This was a tight, kind of a tight contest. Like the Lions, I had like the Jags and stuff where I had them winning a lot of games, but I could actually believe the Lions winning more of these games. So, but the 49ers, I mean, they've got a great coach. The biggest thing is he gonna be like Andy Reid and eventually win one, or is he gonna be like Dan Reeves and go to, I don't know how many Super Bowls was it. I don't know if it was 3 or 4, but I know he went to one with the Falcons, and I know he went with a couple with the Broncos. I forget if he went to 3 with the Broncos, but I just wonder if we're gonna see Kyle Shanahan, get over that hump. I think he can do it, though. I really do.
I believe he has the potential as long as everyone stays healthy. He has like a good defensive coordinator. Man, if they would have made it like if D'Amico Ryans would have been there with him like last season,
yeah.
man, they would have had it. I feel like D'Amico just was too good.
Right.
They have a lot of like pieces that you need to succeed, and they keep getting better. And John Lynch, I think, is a fantastic GM, getting them the pieces they need.
Right? Like, I think he's improved every year since that first one, because he could have maybe gotten Patrick Mahomes in his, or any, some other piece. Other than that, like, I think
if Patrick Mahomes was together with Kyle Shanahan, I don't think any team would beat the 49ers. It would be worse than the Patriots.
Right.
And I know the Chiefs right now is pretty bad, but I think it would be worse with the 49ers.
Definitely, there's an alternate world that happened in. That being said, Dan Reeves, really quick, it was 4 Super Bowls. He lost all of them, 3 with the Broncos, 1 with the Falcons. So right now he's got 2. I wonder how many years Kyle has, until he will he be on a second team?
I think you would be, unless there's like someone you absolutely believe in that's better than Kyle Shanahan. I think they would be stupid to get rid of him. Like, I feel like the Bills are similar with Sean McDermott. I don't know exactly who's going to be better.
Bill Belichick. I mean, at least,
if Bill Belichick can remain to be seen,
right.
But
I guess I'd be saying for what's the second team you said?
For Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah. But that's a whole nother story. We can talk about that another time.
Right? You need you need you need whichever coach you are, like if you're like offensive or defensive, because I think only John Harbaugh is the only one who is special teams. But if you need to know the ins and outs of the game, and if you know one side of the ball, you need to have someone that knows the that knows the other side of the ball, because teams are succeed more if you have your defensive, you have a really good offensive coordinator, or if you're an offensive minded coach and you have a really good defensive coordinator, because Dan Quinn, after he lost, ironically, Kyle Shanahan with the Falcons, just went down the drain and lost his job.
That's why he has Cliff Kingsbury, because we know Cliff Kingsbury is good on the offensive side of the ball. I personally think, just to add on to what you were saying, is John Harbaugh. I'm surprised more head coaches don't come from the special teams side of the ball.
Right? It's really they're right now they're the hottest offensive mind, the best defensive mind, or a former head coach getting another chance, or from college.
Even college has been kind of waiting out. We're not seeing that as often, especially after Matt Rule and a few others.
Right? Jim Harbaugh was the last one, but he had NFL experience. So
I don't count Jim Harbaugh as somebody who came from. I mean, he did come from college, and I get that, but I think he's one of the very few exceptions, because he played in the NFL.
Yeah.
Some coaches just coach. Maybe they come from high school, or they because the college field of coaching and trees and avenues and paths and basically ways to be involved is astronomically more than the NFL. There's only 32, and there's 32 between maybe 2 conferences.
Well, the thing is for a special teams coordinator, they've really have held reined in special teams. I know they brought the new dynamic kickoff, but you don't have kickoffs anymore. Everyone's kicking. What, you're going to hire someone who's just based on how the field goal kickers are, and that's really based on how well the kicker can kick.
But you know a lot of players, so it's there's advantage to it.
Yeah, but I know special teams coordinators, a lot of people love them. You have to get the lot out of them, because if you do mess up, if you do mess up getting the touchback or something, the Chiefs got ahead because they got a good special teams return in one of the Super Bowls.
Yeah, I think the one against the Eagles.
Yeah, from Kadarius Toney. You just you can't mess up the basics.
Right. So with that being said, who do you have at number 3? Hopefully we're not. We're down to 2 more divisions. I feel like.
Oh, what division does your number 3 come from?
South.
Yeah, mine's the South as well.
Mine's the Bucks.
Mine's the Buccaneers as well.
I mean, it's realistic that there's a bit of a tier to like you can see like how these teams play, and like I really liked the Bucks last season, but they should have won more. So it's hard to see like are they gonna win more? Like
Right. I feel like Baker is going to bake. This is going to be the bake show, and like I think he's going to be even better this season.
I mean I do too.
I think they have a very strong offensive line, and they have a physical defense.
I just like the weapons around him. I mean Godwin and Evans, and I mean Cade Otton kind of came on strong during parts of the season too. So
yeah, and Rashad White was a really good running back. So
and I think they got some rookies too. So we'll see if they all come together. I mean I know every team has some rookies, but I think they got a rookie wide receiver.
Yeah, I think Jalen McMillan. I forget if they got another one.
But and then the defense, like the defense is good. Like I know they can't keep everybody, but they've got like Antoine Winfield Jr. and there's a few other players that I mean they're just they're players that if I watched them play I'd remember them. Not necessarily like the Lions. It's part of why I have the Lions ahead of them. So it's just that's why they're third. So
right, I just feel like they're going. I think they're going to be a competitive team, and I don't think the South is going to be.
They're not going to be the bottom of the.
I don't think they're going to be the bottom rung anymore.
Which I mean, I don't know what else to really say. Like I just think that it's going to be a lot of fun in the NFC South. So that means we both have the NFC East at the bottom as far as the divisions go. Who do you have on yours?
I believe in like Jaden Daniels, and I have the Commanders there.
That's fair. I'm not gonna lie. I got two teams on this list. And I was stuck between this might be a little bit like my Broncos pick. Maybe it's too early. With the Commanders. So, but like the Broncos, I've got them a little later. I'm going to take the Eagles and just be even it's a weird one because it's like they have the talent.
They have the talent. I just don't know about trusting the coordinators.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, Kellen Moore has shown that he's not bad, but quarterbacks feel like they take a step back under his coordination. Well, it's more that Dak improved after he was gone, and Justin Herbert just didn't have a great season. I mean, he got hurt, but it wasn't a great season overall. And because I know everybody was like, "Ooh, Justin Herbert and Kellen Moore's gonna be," and they didn't. I mean, even before Justin Herbert got hurt, I think they only won a few games.
Right, and he didn't even know how to use was it Austin Eckler right? So
so it's gonna be interesting to see how well Saquon Barkley does, and what was it?
Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, Gainwell.
The guy who always either didn't do well or like took carries away from whoever my fantasy running back was.
Right. Well, he's definitely like the number 2 back in Philly. So,
but never can trust like fantasy in fantasy like Eagles at fantasy running back with Eagles at times last season.
Right. Do you have the Eagles on your list at all?
No, I don't believe I do.
Okay, then.
But yeah, no, I just think what was it how we said about Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury? I think Jaden Daniels will help. Maybe it's too early, but I think that they have Austin Eckler. Hopefully he'll be used better, and maybe they can just get going and win the division. I don't know if anyone's going to run away with this division. And I mean,
it's going to be close.
Yeah, and there's a new team winning the division every year in the NFC East. So
right.
So maybe it's the Commanders' turn. I mean, they suffered long enough with Dan Snyder.
So who do you get? Who do you have at 5?
I think it might be a bit of a surprise, but I just kind of believe in them. I'm kind of running with the Saints there.
Really?
I feel like they have a lot of the weapons, and they got a new offensive coordinator. So I feel like they'll be better than people think. I mean, they always had a good they have a lot of the good defensive pieces with Tyrann Mathieu and Marshawn Lattimore and Cameron Jordan. Like they really haven't lost anyone.
But they're getting older. Like this is probably one of the biggest surprises.
Right? Maybe I have them too high, but maybe I might put them at 7 or I just believed in them. Just believe in them. Just kind of.
Hey, we talked in our last podcast. I talked about the Titans being a bubble team. So
right, like the NFC is crazy.
it is. And I mean, we know a lot of people are putting in the Bears just because they got Caleb Williams. So, I mean,
Right, some people
why don't you, putting a team in that has some experience, it's, could be worth the risk. So,
right, like like I know some people put the Bears in winning, getting to the Super Bowl, like
winning the division.
like hell, I'm delusional. Like hell, I'm a bit delusional with the Dolphins, and I don't know how they're going to go.
Right. Well, mine's not as
Spicy?
Spicy. Mine's pretty cheesy. the Packers.
Oh, good. I was thinking of actually moving them up or whatever. So, like, I'm glad they're not in the same spot.
Right. No, for me, well, I definitely don't have the Saints, so we don't have to worry about that. But the Packers, I just loved everything that they did last season. I love Jordan Love, and I was a big fan of his during the stuff we saw in the offseason last year. I kept saying like he was the guy I was pushing for, and then they came together, they won, so hopefully they can make some wins. But I don't know if I don't know if they have the talent to beat the Lions.
Right. I mean, I believe in them too. Like, I feel Jordan Love can get them pretty far, and they got, as you call, like how you said, they got Josh Jacobs.
Yes, and I love that receiving core.
Right, they have like one of the best like young receiving cores, like Antavian Wicks, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed.
I was gonna say, right, Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed, yeah.
Yeah,
he's not one of the many Jalens.
Right. I was gonna say now there's some Jadens in the league,
Yeah.
but no, I was gonna say with Jaden Reed, like some days he's the number one, sometimes Dobbs can be the number one, Watson's the number one. Like they've got so many targets, like it's hard. Like that was always the thing with some of the best Green Bay teams. Like, I mean, I guess that you could kind of say like there were certain people who were number ones, but there always felt like they were like 1 and 1A. Like I remember like there were times where like Donald Driver and going back like Antonio Freeman, and then we had like there were times with like Jordy Nelson, and then there was like Greg Jennings,
Greg Jennings, James Jones. Did you mention Donald Driver?
Yes, I said Donald Driver. I know I'm going back to the Brett Favre years.
Yeah, right. I know there was a lot of. I know Aaron Rodgers had a lot of wide receivers too.
Right, like I mean I know it was like.
Yeah, I know it was like
Sterling Sharpe was like before my right when we were like kind of remembering football, like where I remember football, but he retired before he won a Super Bowl, I think, and then
I remember a little far back. I remember the season where Dan Marino got injured and Ray Lucas had to play for him, and I was sad then.
Right, and then man, Ray Lucas, yeah, like and obviously Devontae Adams, but like and then there were the like MVS and Alan Lazard, and like those guys weren't necessarily as good as some of the others that we had mentioned, but like even Randall Cobb, like there were just a bunch of people who on any given Sunday were just making numbers and stuff. I mean,
that's just Green Bay football.
So like these guys feel like the next incarnation, and they've got 4 of them right now. So
right,
and I mean Dobbs feels like maybe not the best, but the most reliable, week in and week out. So I know
Jaden Reed is the speedster who can take the boomer bust guy who can take it to the house anytime. So.
Right.
So they have a lot of different types of receivers, and it's good to have all these types of receivers. It's a good way to win.
And then
also they got rid of Joe Barry as the defensive coordinator, so that's an improvement.
And then they picked up Xavier McKinney.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good defensive pickup. So we'll see what happens. And but they're my number 5, and I if at all possible, like I could see them in the championship game. Like maybe somehow some way that it's like Lions Green Bay for the championship game. I wouldn't be surprised.
I just hope the whatever waxing gibbous moon or whatever is not out during that. Man, that was a crazy stat.
Right. Who do you have as number 6?
Well, I had the Packers.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
you're kind of.
So I'm kind of done. So you want to move to your number 6? Pack, go.
Right. Now we're getting into that spot where I was like the AFC ones. There's a few bubble teams. And only a finite amount of playoff spots. And it's like I've thought about the Rams, the Bucks. Well, they had the Bucks earlier, but they were close with the Falcons and the Cardinals and the Commanders were all teams that were just like, kind of like it's like some of those teams were tough to call. Even the Cowboys, but honestly, I'm gonna tell you, audience, right now, I don't know about the Cowboys. There's something that just doesn't feel.
I mean, they got Mike Zimmer on defense for a defensive coordinator, but I just don't know to trust. I mean, they went through all the shenanigans about re-signing the players, so
right. And I mean, they've had 3-12-win team, seasons. I should believe in them. I forget who I left out in my AFC one. It's like, like there are teams that just get left out, and it's like, I know I was talking about like the Ravens. I think I threw them in, but maybe I forget if I left out the Bills. I really do. And I probably should open up my notes, but with this one, oh man, I got like there's just so many good teams. I want to pick them all. I mean, not the Cowboys. And I know I said I had the Commanders on the list, but I'm not quite sure. And it's hard to want to pick the Rams when they don't have Aaron Donald. But honestly, and some of the coaching stuff, I'm just not sure about. I don't know if this is your number 7, but I think I want to. Oh, do I really want to go with them? Yeah, I'll go with them. Ooh, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
They are my number 7. You're just finishing me up pretty soon.
Dang. Okay, well, with all of the explanations and stuff going on, honestly, it comes down to I like the players, and I liked how Jonathan Gannon coached up the team.
They were very scrappy.
They were scrappy, and they were in like almost every contest, and they beat the Cowboys, and they were close in so many games. And Kyler Murray came back from the injury, and
now they have Marvin Harrison Jr.
and McBride, and they've got James Conner, and they've got just these other pieces, and if they just work together,
they got a ton of rookies.
Right, I'm not quite sure on their defense, but they got Buda Baker and a good safety can work wonders. And I don't know, maybe they'll be scrappy. They pick up some of those close wins or close games. If they, like how many one possession games did they lose last season? If they can swing some of those, they have a winning season. And with Kyler Murray back, maybe they do win some of those one possession games. So right. I'm gonna put the Cardinals in at 6. I don't know if they're gonna make 6. Maybe they make 7. I don't even know if they make the playoffs. But
any of the teams from the NFC West feel like they could be competitive now, and like our bubble teams or can make it. Like I'm not counting out like the Seahawks. I'm not counting out the Rams. And yeah, I believe in the Cardinals as my 7th seed. And they were just a scrappy team. They were in it, and it felt like they were the best worst team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they didn't end up with the number 1 pick, so they weren't so they started winning more there.
Right? They did at the end there, so that's what got them. But they were. I think they were going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. no matter what unless they were going to go off of Kyler. I think they were.
If they got the number 1 pick, they probably would have traded back
and got a haul in. Probably.
Yeah, it might have been more beneficial for them, but
and still picked up a wide receiver. Yeah, I could have seen that. But
yeah, I think, but they still got like a haul of picks. Like I remember, I think I did a mock draft or something as them because of how many picks.
And didn't they get like Houston's pick this year or something? Or I forget if they got a second.
I forget.
But either way, I liked how they played last season. They felt scrappy, so I'm fine picking them. And obviously, they're your 7th seed. You're fine picking them. I feel like maybe I have them too high, but we'll see.
Right.
I really, and as far as my 7th seed, I really like Jaden Daniels. I forgot about the Seahawks.
Mike McDonald's defense might be really something special.
Right? I mean, was he that important to the Ravens? We'll see. And so I don't really. I feel like Seahawks are going to be like that. The Titans, maybe like I forgot about them. Maybe it's like I don't know. They'll be watch them be a playoff team because I'm forgetting about them.
Hey, I mean we're allowed to completely miss.
We are. I mean we don't get paid for this right now. So so I'm between the Commanders and the Rams. And honestly, just because you you have the Commanders in there. I think I'll just go to the Rams. Yeah, they're missing Aaron Donald, but they still got like Puka and Cooper Cup, and Matthew Stafford is a solid quarterback. If that defense can,
Yeah, if the defense stays strong without Aaron Donald, I think they'll be good.
right? I mean, I could have said the Falcons.
Right, the Falcons have a lot of good weapons and defense. It's really difficult. I just felt like that's why I felt for the Saints. So
right, the Falcons. Here's the biggest thing why I'm still not sure on the head coaching, and that's like I'm still not sure if it was like Arthur Smith, if the coaching, like or if they're just not good. If like so we'll see. I'm going to go with the Rams, and yeah, I think that is a majority of the same playoff teams, and that's probably a mistake, but I mean, I had two different. I have the Cardinals. I think I just have the Cardinals in instead of the Cowboys.
Right.
But you have the Commanders
and Saints in
instead of So I don't know how much now that I see it as a big picture. Maybe I don't like it as much. But if I have to put a couple bubble teams in, I'd say the Seahawks and Falcons would probably be third. But the Commanders and the Seahawks I like as possible bubble teams, just because I had the Seahawks last year, but they were the one team I think I got, because I still have my list from last year, and the Seahawks were I had the Seahawks and the Saints instead of they were the two teams that I don't it's I didn't want to, it's I picked them last year. I didn't want to pick the Saints again, even though I like their team, and the Seahawks, it's I want to see Mike McDonald, but there's always usually some new head coach or something that makes it in. Look at Dable when he first did it, his first year with the Giants. So maybe it's the Commanders, and that I'm right on that. So we'll see.
Right? Yeah, the Commanders might be the new head coach team. Falcons could be.
Right.
Seahawks. So many teams, not enough spots.
Yeah, pretty much. So I know we said on the last one we were gonna do our Super Bowl predictions. So you got anything in mind?
Still delusionally believing in that Dolphins-Lions Super Bowl.
I want to go with the Lions, mostly because I kind of want a new Super Bowl champion.
I would absolutely love a Texans Lions Super Bowl.
So, I don't think I put the Texans in. I'd love to see.
Right, I don't think I did either, but I'm
I'd love the if
just a completely, but I know a completely new team that hasn't won. But I guess the Bills versus the Lions could also be something.
I think I put the Bills in. I'd say the Bills Lions would be a choice. I think it's going to be Bengals Lions. I like that just because, they're cats, and I can see that being quite fun. It's a different Super Bowl. It's a never been done Super Bowl, and it would have a new Super Bowl champion. So I'd be happy with that, and that's why I say I'd be happy with Lions Bengals. That's the one I'm predicting.
Yeah,
with other choices of being Lions, Jags could be an option. Lions Bills could be an option. Not that they're in there, but the Lions Texans and any of those teams, and the Cardinals, because the Cardinals haven't won a Super Bowl either. So
give us any teams that haven't won the Super Bowl and the Dolphins. It's been 50 years. It might as well. But I mean, still still love that we have Super Bowls. I just none in my lifetime.
It's been 9 years for me as a Broncos fan, far too long. But I just like a winning season. Maybe I like a winning season, a playoff spot. I just like to have a quarterback that gets developed. It's really what the goal is.
I just hope I want the Super Bowl. I just hope we win a playoff game.
Right. You gotta take those first steps. Developing a quarterback is the first step. So
right. Out of the teams I have, Bengals Lions would be the one I would have as well. For teams that haven't won a Super Bowl to play each other, and the ones I picked, I went to my AFC list.
Right. I mean, I'll be honest. It'd be awesome to see Lions Jags, just because neither have ever made a Super Bowl, so that would be really cool. There's first of all, brand new Super Bowl. First, then they both make it for the first time ever, and guarantee new matchup there. So it's it'd just be awesome for both franchises, especially the Lions, who have won NFL championships but not a Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, the Lions deserve it, and I'd basically be happy with the Dolphins versus anyone on the NFC or something new, or mainly the Dolphins versus the Lions, because I could accept, I guess, I say this, I could accept the Dolphins losing to the Lions, but I'd probably be heartbroken.
He would be.
So it would lessen the blow because it's the Lions and they finally would win. But and it's Dan Campbell. So but I just believe in the Dolphins and still hope they win.
And you know what? If they don't, I'll sing you a song. Josh Jacob Jingleheimer.
Yes, and that's supposed to ease my pain. How?
His name is my name too. Your name is my name. So I guess that's all I got for right now. So.
Generic Sports Podcast. We live in the tangents.
This is a callback, sir.
Callback. Tangents.
Well, we wanted to talk about Super Bowls and stuff.
Yes, we did.
I have no idea on MVP. The weight race is wide open, and
it's anyone's game. It's a long season,
right? I hope it's better than last season because, like, no offense to Lamar, but it was really just your team was the best team. That's why you won it because
Tyreek didn't make 2,000 yards, so
right,
kind of like they were hoping for that. I feel
I really did slip. I didn't mean to say run it. Bad slip of the tongue there. But I mean, I know that they were just the second seed, and even though they lost the last, but I think Dak should have won it. He had the better stats. I think he had more touchdowns and stuff.
Right? They just because of the running yards, they put Lamar higher. Like
I forget how many more running yards he had. I don't know if there were more. Like I was thinking about overall touchdowns. I thought Dak still had more touchdowns. Maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't know. I think even Christian McCaffrey could have won it.
Yeah. So I mean, it just felt like it was Brock Purdy's until the Ravens lost, and then nobody else beat the Ravens, so it was his. And
yeah, then the Ravens destroyed the Dolphins, so that kind of helped him.
Yeah, and then the Dolphins beat the Cowboys.
Right, so it was a whole mess.
Right, it really was just like, well, you're the quarterback of the best team. Here it is. Or I don't even know. And I want to say it would have been, you're the quarterback of the best team, because if it was the 49ers that won, I don't know if it would have been like, you're the best player on the best team, because, maybe Trent Williams would have won it. I don't know.
An offensive lineman win it? You're out of your mind.
I am.
The entire offensive line, like, as long as they protect the quarterback, should be like an offensive line award.
There should be. But that's another story.
Right.
Maybe we can get something for the NFL. Maybe we can talk to the NFL, see if we can get an award for that.
Right.
So, anything else you want to add with our NFC predictions?
Oh, I think it's going to be a wild season.
Yes. I am here for it. I'm ready for some upsets. I'm ready for some craziness. I'm not necessarily ready for injuries, but I'm hoping for a fun, good season, and honestly, hoping not for the three-peat.
That is the goal of the season. To like, they're going to be hard to stop, but hopefully they will be able to be stopped.
Right. It feels like it's the most likely thing, so we'll see.
Right. If I already expect it, if they lose, then it will be exciting.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We've talked about wrestling here before, but when Cody Rhodes lost at WrestleMania 39, it was heartbreaking, but it was unexpected.
Right.
And there were many ways that they could have gone with 40. I got what I expected, so I was happy. I guess we'll see what happens with the Super Bowl.
Yep.
All right. With that said, I'm Josh, and this is Josh Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Saying thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you here next time. Not sure what we'll have next, but if it's anything, don't get too crazy. It will be week 1, and we'll see you here next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye.